Namaste. In my last session, we studied about the refraction and refractive indices, their definitions, and the laws of refraction, and also about the relation between refractive indices, angle of incidence, and angle of refraction. Now, today, we will learn one more relation. So for the timing, I give you a problem. Mu2 is refractive index of second medium. Mu1 is refractive index of first medium, and mu21 is refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. Now we have to explore the relation between these three. According to definition, mu2 is equal to C upon V2. Mu1 is equal to C upon V1. Therefore, mu2 upon mu1 will be equal to V1 upon V2. If you divide this equation by this equation, we get this equation, V1 upon V2. But remember this term. This is definition of refractive index. Refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. So we can rewrite it like this. This ratio is, according to definition of refractive index, is refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. This means now we come to one more relation, and that relation is mu21 is equal to mu2 upon mu1. So in the equation which we learnt on the last session, you have to add one more equation, that mu21 is equal to mu2 upon mu1. Now I can write to sum it. Now look here, mu21 is equal to mu2 upon mu1 is equal to V1 upon V2 is equal to lambda 1 upon lambda 2 is equal to sin I upon sin R. So this is the relation which you have to remember. Mu21, refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium, is equal to refractive index of second medium divided by refractive index of first medium, is equal to velocity in first medium divided by velocity in second medium, is equal to wavelength in first medium divided by wavelength in second medium, is equal to sine of angle of incidence divided by angle of refraction. Here you have to pay attention here. This is mu2 upon mu1, but this is v1 upon v2. Here 2 is in the numerator, here the suffix 1 is in the numerator. So it should not be confused here. So you have to remember the whole relation. Now on the basis of this relation, we are now studying the refraction at spherical surfaces. This is interface of two media, one on the left side, second media on the right side, and this common boundary of the two media is known as interface of the two media. Its refractive index is mu1, its refractive index is mu2. And this is a spherical surface which is transparent. This is part of the sphere. On left side of this spherical surface lies a medium having refractive index mu1. On the right of this spherical surface lies a medium having refractive index mu2. This is the midpoint of the spherical surface. This is center of curvature of the spherical surface. Now this green line is the line joining the midpoint and the center of curvature, and this is called principal axis of the spherical surface. Now to derive a relation between distance of object, distance of image, radius of curvature, mu1 and mu2, we suppose a point object placed on the principal axis. So let O be the point object lying on the principal axis. OP is incident ray towards the spherical surface. P is point of incidence. At this point, join this point P with the center of curvature, we get a normal. So for the time being, let us assume that this medium is optically denser than this medium. Optically denser means the mu of this medium is greater than the mu of this medium. As this medium is optically denser, the ray should bend now towards the normal. So this ray bends towards the normal because this is the normal. This is its original path and it bends. Now when it bends towards the normal, at I it meets the principal axis. Therefore this point I may be called image of O. So this is point object, this is point image. This is the angle between normal and incident ray, therefore it is angle of incidence. Similarly, this is angle of refraction. Now, suppose the ray does not bend to meet at a point on principal axis. So it may bend like this. If it bends like this, it will never meet principal axis here. On extending it backward, it will meet here at point I dash. So in that case, when it does not bend sufficiently to meet at I, on projecting it in the backward direction, it will meet at I dash. Now this will be called image of O. Now what is the difference between these two images? This is called real image and this is called virtual image. So there are two possibilities. Therefore, you have to practice this diagram before attempting it first time in the examination. Otherwise, you will not be able to draw this image here. This angle of incidence, this angle of refraction. Now we have to establish relation between all these physical quantities. Now we will draw a relation for the spherical surfaces of small aperture. When the aperture is small, all these angles will also be small. Now we draw a perpendicular from P on the principal axis. Now Pn is the perpendicular. When the aperture is small, M, the midpoint, and the N, the projection of perpendicular, are very close to each other. So we may interchange whenever required, M with N or N with M. Now let this angle be alpha, let this angle be beta, and let this angle be gamma. Now sin I upon sin R is equal to mu2 upon mu1. This is the relation. Sin I upon sin R is equal to mu2 upon mu1. Therefore, cross multiplying and also writing it for small angles. In place of sin I, we can write I. In place of sin R, we can write R. Therefore, the new equation becomes mu1 I is equal to mu2 R. Now we will write I in terms of alpha and beta and R in terms of beta and gamma. Look at this triangle. Relation between alpha, beta and I. I is exterior angle of alpha and beta. Therefore, we can write I is equal to sum of interior angles, that is alpha plus beta. So I is equal to alpha plus beta from this triangle. Similarly, R. Now consider this triangle. Beta is exterior angle and these are interior opposite angles. Therefore, R plus gamma is equal to beta. Therefore, R is equal to beta minus gamma. So this becomes the equation. Now in place of alpha we can write Pn upon On or NO. In place of angle beta we can write Pn upon Nc. Similarly, for beta Pn upon Nc, for gamma Pn upon Ni. This is the triangle for gamma because the angles are small. For small angles we can write this, all these four in terms of this ratio. Now as Pn is common, we can again write 1, 1, 1, 1. All Pn's cancel. As n is very close to m, we can write in place of NO, MO, in place of NC, MC. Similarly, 1 upon MC minus 1 upon Ni. Now MO. MO is distance of object from the midpoint of the spherical surface. Therefore, this is called U. With proper sign, we will write it minus U because it lies on the left side of O. So in place of MO, we write 1 upon minus U minus 1 upon R. What is R? The radius of curvature, distance of center from M. It is towards right, therefore it is positive. Now 1 upon R again. Now Ni, distance of image from the midpoint, is V. As it is towards right, it is positive. Now when we rearrange these terms, we write mu2 upon V minus mu1 upon U is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon R. So this is the final relation we have to achieve. Now how to remember this equation? In this medium lies image. This is distance of image. In this medium lies object. This is distance of object. And on the right side, mu2 minus mu1 upon radius of curvature. So this is the relation between mu1, mu2, u, v and r. In this case, we have written or we have taken a convex spherical surface which is convex towards the object. In this case, there are two possibilities. Either the image is positive, real or virtual. If the surface is concave towards the object, then also there are two possibilities. So you have to learn 3 more derivations similarly. But the final result in all the 4 cases will be the same. Here the signs may change, but the final result will be the same. All the 4 cases. That is virtual and real images for convex surface, virtual and real images for concave surfaces. So in addition to this, you have to learn the 3 other cases also. Thank you.